Norwich City up to the dizzy heights of 22nd in the Championship. A 1-1 draw tonight at Hillsborough. The run of 6 straight defeats is over. A point on the road against a rock bottom Sheffield Wednesday, who have got a minus 12 point deduction, yet they look like a team willing to fight. A team united, a club united, and given all the problems and turbulence that they've had to endure over recent years, it only really puts more into perspective the wider issues of what's going on at the moment at Norwich City Football Club, and the questions around Liam Manning and those above him, for me, won't change after tonight's result. I think tonight's result was almost a little bit irrelevant in my head. Whether Norwich would have gone there and put on a show, won that game convincingly 3 or 4-0, a defeat on Saturday at Carrow Road against Leicester would have only ended in the same result. The fans are united in their feeling towards Liam Manning, towards those above him, and they want change. I'm firmly in that camp. I want to see something materially change, and tonight's only further evidence for me. Norwich a little bit lucky, probably, if we're being honest, to come away with a point. They had a good opportunity through Josh Sargent, of course, early doors, and I think a fully confident Josh Sargent at the start of this season, maybe certainly one in the last couple of seasons, he buries that opportunity. But where we're at right now, nothing's really going for Norwich, and they don't really deserve it because the effort levels on the pitch don't really merit it. Then moving on, obviously, Barry Bannon's superb strike, but you can question why nobody closed him down. And I think it was probably expected when he hit that it was going to hit, find the back of the net. Sheffield Wednesday carved out a few other opportunities. Norwich, not a massive amount. I mean, Svartal had a couple of opportunities. Obviously, the goal coming through an excellent pass from Kenny over to Sargent. Very unselfish from him to lay it on a plate for Matthias Kvskoren to find the back of the net and at least earn Norwich City a point on the road. But those fractious problems that sort of are underlying at the moment, very evident just around the half-time mark, where all the players were across, Liam Manning and Shane Duffy seemingly clashing. And me and Ben had a sort of wider conversation about Shane Duffy and whether he should be on the pitch representing this football club after the off the field and on field antics. I guess Saturday's performance didn't exactly, help his case to be involved, and you have to question why an individual like that is on the football pitch, and for me that should be the end of it. His Norwich career should have come to an end long before now, and tonight really that definitely should be the end of it, because if not, bigger question marks even around that are only going to keep arising. As I said, I don't think tonight's result was going to change anything. Norwich could have gone there and won convincingly, because Saturday's game is round the corner against a Leicester team that's struggling a little bit, but probably is going to come to Carrow Road and do what every other team so far this season's done and get 3 points, get a result, and then that leads us into an international period where I think Norwich they have to change something. But I felt that now probably since the last international break, that defeat at Portman Road, that would have been at the perfect time, the clean break to make that change and try and inject something to turn the ship and get this club and this team moving forwards, and certainly looking up the table rather than down, because if you take away the points deduction that Sheffield Wednesday had, that team had a lot more fight, a lot more effort about it, and that's a group of players who haven't been paid at different points, who have been through the mill, and a club that's been on its knees, yet that was a club tonight, you could see it, you could hear it, you could feel it, even just through the TV. That's a club that's united and feels like there's something round the corner for them. Norwich have nothing, absolutely nothing. They're a club that's heading for League One, and the level of quality tonight, from both teams really, but definitely from a Norwich point of view, there's nothing there to cling on to feel like it's gonna move upwards, and it's certainly not going to do that without a change. So I think the most recent podcast is probably the place to head for a more in-depth feeling, because I could dissect the game in a lot of depth, but I don't really think anybody wants to hear it. It's going to be much the same. It's a point, but one that I think on another night without Vladan Kovacevic making some excellent saves, and maybe Sheffield Wednesday not putting their chances away. You look at that opportunity that Jamal Lowe had, and they had the sort of effort from the halfway line. If one of those finds at the back of the net, then they probably get a deserved 3 points. And the injury issues are still there. Obviously, Sloop pulling up in the second half, who I think certainly in the whole game and even tonight was relatively positive and probably one of Norwich's better performers. Not that bar and that level is very high at the moment. Then you had Harry Darling as well, certainly feeling something towards the end of the game amid others as well. And the fitness levels just looked miles off it. Makama looked absolutely shattered again, sort of around the 50-minute mark. And even those little minor details, the sports science and the sort of fitness elements, the medical staff, the fact that none of it's really seemingly changing or being reviewed after all of the problems that Norwich have had in those areas for now, 2, 3, even going on more seasons than that. Yeah, it beggars belief, really. Of course, thanks for watching this. Leave your thoughts and feelings down below, but I'd imagine that the mood and the feeling and the anger and frustration and kind of the numbness to it, I think tonight, even when Norwich score it, there's no kind of excitement or enjoyment when they score, because you kind of know that it's only going to feed into the kind of Manning probably keeping his job again till Saturday, because nobody would sort of behind the scenes, because of that sort of relationship that's between Ben Napper and Liam Manning, and the fact that both of them know that if one of them goes, that's probably the other one going, and rightfully so. That point probably keeps them here till Saturday. So let's see what Saturday brings at Carrow. Maybe I'll be wrong and Norwich will actually act and make a change, but I'm struggling to find any will that's going to happen. So leave your thoughts down below. Of course, if you've not watched the most recent podcast, that's probably a good place to go. We touch upon a lot of the wider problems, and I'm sure we're going to be doing a lot more of that over the coming weeks. Hopefully there'll be a bit more positivity if something will change and Norwich can try and turn this season round and move up the table and actually look for championship safety, because that's got to be the objective from where we are at the moment. So thanks for watching this, and we'll see you in the next one.